Hello, Tom from Black Toe Studio, and we're back for another episode of Painter's Block here in 2023. This is episode 3, and I've managed to go above what I was saying to do, and I've done one a week so far since I started this series, which is pretty cool. I can firmly say that I'm really actually enjoying what I'm doing at the moment, and as you can see in front of you here, we have 3 models which I completed over the last week. I suppose the one that took the most time was the Rhino there, which we'll go and have a slightly closer look at. But in between sort of doing parts of that Rhino, I did a couple of assisters from my collection, which I'm converting over from the other scheme. So we'll start with the Rhino. Here we go. And as you can see here, we've gone back to, well, I say we've gone back to, I mean, I've gone back to a red colour scheme. Well, I did say the only thing I've really got left to do on this particular model is just doing possibly some writing on some of the parchment work around the model. But overall, it's basically where I want this to look, and I was actually very happy with how this turned out in the end. And it was very enjoyable to actually get repainted to this style. So we've got red as the overall theme, and then we've run some black and obviously some white through it, and then a lot of silver accents all over the model in various places. I say silver, so that's the lead belcher, and with a wash over it. And yeah, overall, very happy with it. I can't really complain. And this was, I think, one of my main focuses of the week. I was just trying to get how I wanted to look down and gradually work around and finish that off, which I'd have done. And then, the rest of the week, I essentially, in between painting that, we had these 2 sisters here, which are some of the line troops, so just some basic bolter ones. I think these are pretty much there. I think I'm still missing something from them. I might need to do a little bit of shading on the black in places. I think I kind of got to the point where I did them, and I'm now going, right, I think that's the base scheme, right? So I've already done a few more of these. I've got another 4 that I've done from the previous week, which I was on the last video. And yeah, again, this is starting to look like an army that I'm really enjoying. Well, I really want to carry on with now. In fact, this has become probably my primary focus over the last week. And definitely, I can see myself carrying on with these because we're doing a league soon with myself, Dom, and a few others, which is basically we've all picked a combat patrol. And we're all going to do one now. I was originally going to do a Grey Knight combat patrol, but I've decided that I'm going to buy the combat patrols for my sisters, so I can expand the army, but also sort of learn to play them when 10th comes out. Because obviously, I don't think I'm going to be playing a lot of 9th. So between now and when 10th comes out, because I'm kind of sold on the way 10th is going, and I'm going to try and stick to that because I'm a little bit out of I suppose. Out of practice with 9th, so I don't want to get down relearning all that and then have to learn another rule set. So anyway, but painting wise, yeah, this is really where I'm currently sitting. And at the moment, I don't want to sort of jinx anything, but I'm quite happily doing at least an hour or so a night at the moment, which is cool. And I haven't really felt the need to stop, which is even better now. So this is basically what I've done. So I'll push this over to one side and we'll go through what I'm starting to work on. So we have a second Rhino over here, which I've just done the red component of over the last couple of days. I think I'll have that finished by next week. To be honest, I'm not too worried. I mean, it's a fairly easy paint scheme, but it's also I think once you've done one, you know where you need to go with it, and you can hopefully identify places to improve. But ultimately, it kind of just it fits together quite nicely, and it's not a terribly difficult paint scheme, which is fantastic as well. Now, obviously, I mentioned this was one of the models that I had to strip off the base coat from a bad batch of spray by the looks of it. Now, on top of doing this, I then spent a lot of other time, because obviously I've showed the models I've been painting, but that wasn't the only thing I'd been doing, because the other thing that had been taking some time was I've also got an Exorcist, which I had to strip, and this took a couple of coats of bar strip to get down to the point where I could respray it. I did try a respray briefly to see if it was kind of a one-off problem that I was having with the other one, but it did exactly the same thing. Everything pulled and split on a lot of the places where the graininess was. So yeah, ended up having to strip the model, and this wasn't particularly fun to strip. I've unfortunately lost a couple of points on here, and I don't know whether that was just weakening or maybe just some overly aggressive brushing. But what I've done at the moment, because I actually can't find them, I assume they've fallen off in the process. So I've essentially evened it out on each side, so it looks the same. It's a shame, but you know, I can't really. I can't really avoid that. Well, I can avoid it happening. So what I mean is I can't really repair that. So I'm gonna go with it as it is. Just call it battle damage or whatever you will. And then obviously I've also had an immolator I was doing, which is here. And again, this had the same problem. I had to strip this down completely. And this one wasn't quite as bad because I didn't actually respray this one. I just went straight to stripping it before trying to spray it. I had a similar issue with some of the gating on the top here. Which unfortunately lost a couple of them, but at the end of the day, it is what it is, and I will just carry on. And I made it match. I think that actually somehow that matched itself. I didn't even do that one. That just apparently I lost 2 on each side here, which is a bit of a shame. But when I was stripping it, I noticed I think some of the glue weakened as well, and the front dropped off, which I re-glued back on before spraying. But yeah, I'm looking forward to doing that. I do have, if I can just find it here, I don't know where I've just put it. Oh, here it is. It is behind me here. 1 second, just grab it. I do have the top part of that to do as well. Now, the problem I had with this was that I'd glued the plastic clear section on, which is obviously, I think, supposed to be stained glass. And unfortunately, I haven't been able to get that off. Now, I'm toying with the idea of maybe cutting the joints at the bottom and then just trying to gradually ease it off because I do need to base this. Either that or I'm just going to get a paintbrush and I'll just base it manually using a black first before putting the red on and hope it doesn't change the aesthetic too much. So the other thing that I did do is, because obviously this Exorcist here is in the new colour scheme, is I do have a fully painted Exorcist in the old colour scheme. Now, I am actually going to not touch this until I've finished the one on the left here, so I can do a direct comparison hopefully in a video or two's time, just so we can have a look at where we've come from to where we've gone to, and just see the comparison in what I do, because I think I had a couple of comments saying that actually some people quite liked the scheme here. For me, I'm just not digging it. I suppose it just doesn't seem right to me, but that it could just be that I've got my head into this nice red one over here now, and that's what I want to do, and I think that's basically what's also motivating me to carry on painting my sisters at the moment. I do have obviously my Black Temper stuff I want to do, but I'm going to continue with this, and what I've decided to do is that I'm going to turn this series I'm currently doing into kind of a 10 episode series. Then I'm going to reevaluate, excuse me for my voice, I've got a bit of a sore throat. I'm going to evaluate where I'm at and kind of where I'm going to with this particular series. And I think when I get to 10, if I'm painting regularly again, I'm going to basically put a pause on it. And then I'm going to filter back into doing some of the more focused videos on each of the armies. So maybe I can do a Sisters of Battle kind of overview of what I've managed to achieve over those videos. Because I think the majority of my painting is going to be on this army now for the moment, because that's kind of where I feel I'm having the most fun and focus on. But yeah, so currently for next week, target wise, I think I'm looking at getting sort of starting off from left to right here, the Rhino finished off, and then starting work on the Exorcist. But all the while, I'm going to try and mix in some of the line troops I've got, because I've got about 30 Battle Sisters that are in the other scheme, which I'm going to try and gradually convert over to the red colour scheme, so it starts to all match up. And then hopefully, just for the fact of doing a couple or more for everyone, I suspect when I'm doing the Exorcist, I'm going to get more than a couple done in between painting layers, because that's quite a complex model. I remember doing the other one. It was quite a long ordeal, especially when you start getting into the organ. And then obviously, if I go over the top here, you can see there's obviously the kind of inside the control cab up there. You've got the keyboard on the organ and everything. There's quite a lot to do on that. So, but ultimately, yeah, and that's basically what I'm looking at. So, as usual, thank you all very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Any comments are welcome below. And please subscribe and give this video a like. Thank you very much. Take care, everyone. Speak to you soon.